see in Doomsday Clock this month that Rorschach gets a grappling gun from Batman himself. So I don't know if that'll tie in somehow to that. Somehow he gets retconned back to the time. I don't know.
I don't know,
It's
but this is
interesting.
well, it's interesting because we find out this is somebody completely different than the original Rorschach. We knew
Yeah.
it wasn't the original Rorschach. There's somebody, and we don't even know who he is really.
Is it the kid that was reading the comic books in the original Watchmen? I have no idea.
I gotta go back and read that. So this one picks up right where the last one ends off with the cliffhanger from the last one that we find out that the comedian is alive and he's in the DC Prime universe, and we find out
Yeah.
that the beginning of Watchmen, if anybody's read it or watched the movie, the first thing you see is the death of the comedian. That's the first thing that happens in Watchmen is the death of the comedian. He is thrown out of a high-rise window.
Yeah.
But we see now that he never made impact with the ground below.
Now, we also see that the button must have came with him and got embedded in the cave of the
Yeah.
back, or got embedded in the wall of the Batcave somehow.
So apparently the comedian was saved by Dr. Manhattan, taken to the DC universe, and he's been there this entire time in kind of like the shadows.
Yeah, and there's that cool reveal when he wakes up in the ocean. He's
Yeah.
he was about to hit the ground and things kind of fade out, and then he wakes up out of the ocean, and then there's just this blue glow, and he turns around and says, "Doc, what are you doing here?"
Now this issue is pretty. This issue is interesting in the way that it paces, because you go from comedian and Ozymandias, you have Batman, Rorschach, but then you have the news, you have this old television movie of some private eye, you have an old man who's waiting for his like daughter and grandson to come visit him at the old folks home.
It's a bit reminiscent of the way Alan Moore does things too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely Jeff Johns kind of channeling Alan Moore through the Watchmen pieces of this story.
It's very Tarantino in the fact that it's the scene, like, to me, the scenes don't go together. They're all like cut really weird. I enjoy it because it's laying some groundwork, and it really, this book feels more Watchmen than it does DC.
It does. It does. It feels a lot like and the DC's loosened up the language on this too.
A lot of cursing in this.
They're allowing them to curse in this story, which is odd to me for a regular mainstream DC book. But if you're blending those two universes, you almost got to let them do it.
You do.
But one of the things I was wondering about is there is the two villains that Ozymandias and Rorschach brought with them.
The
to
mime
this
and what's her face? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering, and I could be totally way off base, but I was wondering when I saw her in the makeup going into the Joker's club, I was
Harley.
thinking, I wonder if this is the second Harley Quinn that showed up in Batman White Knight, or if that's some kind of explanation for that.
And I love, and that's if White Knight even ties into anything, because it's an otherworld story. We don't know.
Yeah, but this is dealing with all those worlds. It could be one of the dying universes in Metal for all we know. We don't
know.
It seems to me there's been little weird clues dropped throughout Metal and Doomsday Clock and throughout the regular books that there's some major coming together of all of these arcs at some point.
Yeah, I mean, they've coming together. They're finding out the mime has powers. His mime gun actually shoots. His mime knives actually cut.
Yeah, they actually work. I don't know if they're psychic, if he creates them psychically, or if they're just actually invisible weapons. But
we know that the Joker will end up appearing at some point.
yeah,
So
they're
that's
actually
pretty
they're looking for him now.
They've made mention of the Mad Hatter in this issue, which I don't know.
Johnny
if
Thunder's in it again.
Yeah, Johnny Thunder. There's so much in here, and it's so intricate. And the fact that the other thing is they mention the Superman theory. They say that all the metahumans didn't start showing up until Superman did, and they're saying that most metahumans are products of government experimentation, and it's all because of Superman. And that's
they're saying also like 97% of all metahumans are in the United States, and they're wondering why that is.
Yeah, and then they show like things that happen in other countries based off of just the few metahumans that are in those countries, like wild huntsmen and things like that. But I mean, it does have a very, very Watchmen feel with this metahuman thing kind of mimicking the superhero hatred that was in Watchmen.
Some of the narration boxes too are similar.
Yeah.
And some of the dialogue going on.
And really, so far, other than one appearance of Superman in the first issue, and now Batman, those are really the only DC characters we are really seeing. Is we get one shot of Superman, and then we get Batman, and Batman playing his games, of course. And Batman, he ends up getting Rorschach's journal, so he knows everything that happens.
Yeah, but he doesn't believe he gets Rorschach locked up. He sneaks him into Arkham and locks him up because he doesn't buy it yet or something. Or he just wants to keep him where he knows where he is in case he's got to come back and get him later.
It's still very much 3 issues in. It's still very much setup to me. It's still very much setup of everything.
Yeah, they're it's like a chess game. They're putting the pieces in place. That's why it kind of feels like Jeff Johns creating something huge and kind of channeling Alan Moore and mainstream DC and kind of merging it together in this weird convergence.
Yeah, we get to see who Rorschach is. We don't know who he is, but Jeff Johns is still moving all the players into place. All the pieces, he's still putting them in place before the game actually starts. And I kind of like that.
It's revealed that Dr. Manhattan is on Earth now. We know he's there.
He's in the Prime DC. Yeah, he's in the Prime DC universe, and that's what I like the slow burn. I think with this you want a slow burn on this. You don't want something quick and fast.
Well, I think if it was anybody but Johns, it would get annoying. But I know Johns' work, and I know he's building something, and I know it's going to pay off if I keep reading it. So, I mean, because everything he's done, it's just been everything I've read by Jeff Johns, like from Blackest Night through the end of the Green Lantern run that he did. I was like, man, the guy's a brilliant guy.
Yeah. So definitely this one, I would have to say this might be the Renegade pick of the week. I'm instigating the Renegade pick of the week here. So I think this would be the Renegade pick of the week. Would be Doomsday Clock number 3.
Yeah, well, the other, I would agree. I would say that was my favorite of the week. I'd say that that gave me the most oh shit moments. Like, oh crap, this is insane. And so that was there. The only other book I think we both read was the new Raven series.
Now with that Raven, it's Raven, the daughter of the demon, I believe it is.
Yeah. I
want to get that right. With the 4% on my phone, so I can go and make sure. Oh, hello there. Oh, daughter of darkness.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, with that one now, with this to me this is a follow up, and it is. This is a follow up to the Raven miniseries that they did about a year or two ago. Maybe a year ago or so. So they did a miniseries of Raven where she goes and lives with her aunt and uncle and basically goes to like regular high school and things like that.
Yeah, see, I didn't read that, so that's good to know because that was not explained in this at all.
Exactly. So yeah, this is a follow up. So she had gone to regular school, made friends. There was still stuff that she had to do with her powers and everything. So that's where, like at the beginning of this, where she's sitting with all those teenagers, That's why it's not the Titans. These are the friends that she made going to school.
Well, they don't know anything. They don't know about the Titans. They don't know about her power. They don't know. They just think she's a regular person.
Yeah. It delved a lot more into her backstory. Her mother in the cult and things like that. And in this one, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's going on. There's another character that is causing illusions and
Azura or something, or Azur or something like that.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're trying to lead up to maybe like Trigun coming back or trying to come back.
Yeah, that's you get that weird reveal at the end, and I don't know what the fuck's going on.
That was it. The reveal at the end. I'm not going to say what it was, but the reveal at the end was pretty weird. And it made sense with the title because it was like the girl, like it was called The Girl with the Anime Eyes, and I was like, oh, are they talking about Raven? But the last reveal that I was like, okay, that's where they got it from. Okay, I got that.
It looks pretty good. I'll tell you what I liked about it a lot is it didn't have a lot of teenage drama bullshit in it. It had that one scene in the beginning, and then it just took off into action, and it was just all magic and shit like that. It was good.
It was a good. This is a good little like side story book. Yes, You probably should pick up at least the trade of the original miniseries just to kind of understand why Raven is in this environment. She's not with the Titans right now. But I like Raven stories. I like stories of Raven in the New 52. Raven she's a very complex character that I think people who just watch Teen Titans or Teen Titans Go, they don't fully understand the history of Raven.
That goes way, way back. And, well, she was just recently, actually, she was in that Super Sons arc, too, with Teen Titans.
Raven has powers that really a lot of, like, even Batman is wary of.
Trigon, she's the daughter of Trigon, and Trigon is basically a world-devouring demon.
Yeah.
And very dangerous.
That the Titans and the main heroes have come up against multiple times.
And which John Constantine likes to gamble with his sons.
He does. We'll talk about that
next week. Next week we'll get the Sons of Trigon. And I love the Sons of Trigon. Actually, they're kind of humorous characters.
They're kind of like the Three Stooges of the demon world.
They're pretty funny.
And speaking of John Constantine, I read Hellblazer this week. It's the second part of the Bardo storyline. So John Constantine, he's in San Francisco. He fucking hates being in San Francisco. And he's working with this coven of witches because
is the house keep dumping him off other places? He's trying to get back to England, right? So
he wants to go back to England. No, he went to England, but what happened was a friend of his was murdered. So he was called in by another friend, and she gets murdered.
Right. And I've read like one or two issues of this arc, so I don't know what the hell's going on.
So he's basically there's a guy in San Francisco who he wants to cleanse the world of the unclean, and he's been killing them with the manifestation of this ancient deity that is supposedly rules over the existence between heaven and hell.
Is he still teamed up with the one girl, the sorceress lady?
Yeah, he's still teamed up with her. And this is the climax of that one. It's a good story. To me, being a fan of Constantine, nothing is ever as good as the Vertigo title. Nothing of Constantine is as good as Vertigo because I think he had a little more.
The Hellblazer series, right?
I think they at Vertigo when Constantine was at Vertigo with the Hellblazer title, there was more. They could do more.
I have almost all of that. I'm missing a couple.
A few of them. With DC, there are certain points I really enjoy Constantine. I love it when he's, I loved him in Justice League Dark. I love when he's doing his dealings. This title, there's been ups and downs, a lot of ups and downs.
I thought the last issue was kind of boring. I read the last one and it just kind of dragged.
There was 2 issues ago or 3 issues ago, there was a really good one where he's once again framed for something, and it finds out it delves into Old Norse mythology with dwarves and how they killed
that's
one of the Aesers, and
I read that too. That was actually pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, so this one a little bit less than that one.
Well, that's my thing. I love Norse mythology shit. This was my favorite, one of my favorite mythologies in the world.
So I'm hoping the next issue picks up. This one, it just finishes out the story of the Bardo. Constantine has a few good lines in there. There's a girl in the Coven that really wants to shack up with Constantine, and he's just having none of it because he's kind of he's done with San Francisco. He really hates the hippy dippy, new age, medicine way of San Francisco.
He's punk rock.
Yeah. And in this one, they do somebody's talking to the police because he's being framed for murder. They're like, bleach blonde, Billy Idol looking type hair.
What was that issue? Was it a couple issues back? I don't remember which one it was, where he did the flashback to when he was young and he was like in the punk club.
Yeah, that was doing the dwarf one. So not bad, but needs to pick up a little bit.
Yeah, well, Constantine's kind of like there's certain heroes, I think, certain characters that are better in a group than they are on it. Like there's certain ones that just I don't think can hold their own.
I like Constantine if he's with Swamp Thing or with Zatanna.
Like with the Signal, I like Duke with the Bat family. I don't know that I'm going to dig the Signal with Duke running his own team and doing his own thing. I don't think I'm going to dig that very much. I like the nighttime scary Batman family. That's what I.
Yeah. And you did Action and Flash?
Uh,